All right, so this is plenty of people. So if we can just close the door and if like a quarter of you can just leave, I'll feel better and make me feel a lot better. So I've done this presentation a couple of times, but I've only done it with my partner and in my bathroom mirror. So if you all don't mind turning around and just look somewhere else and just imagine the slides. Imagine the slides. I guess we'll get started. I feel like, okay, we have one more person. Let's just wait for them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Take your time, because I do not want to do this. Just real quick, like how many, like what do we all do? Just shout out what you do. No, I'm just kidding. Do we have any like creatives here? Is it everyone? All of you think you're creative. Okay, that's cool. Do we have a lot of like artistes? Are we coders? We have artistes. Okay, you're gonna hate this. So I'm excited. Actually, okay, we do have, someone, so let me just change the presentation entirely now. Okay, well, thanks for coming. First off, I am not a robot, creativity in the age of prompts. First thing, I just want to tell you, this is not an AI rant. I'm not going to tell you how AI is evil and you should avoid it at all costs, even though you probably should, but it's here now. So we have to be here with it. It also is not a AI hustle. This isn't about, you're wasting your time if you're not using these 87 AI tools, make 10K a month in your sleep. I used AI to build 3 businesses, and now I have 6 clients, 2 podcasts, and no will to live. This is not it, okay? And those are my other presentations. I actually made this as a creative with growing anxiety of like from seeing headlines that are like, AI just replaced 800 jobs in 12 seconds and yours is next. Because I don't know about you, but I don't think I'm replaceable. So I made this as kind of a response of like what I'm not hearing. My name is David Jackson. I am a Buffalo-based motion designer with over 15 years of experience contributing to visual work recognized with 6 gold and silver Buffalo Addy Awards, 4 ANA B2 Global Awards. I'm be real with y'all, I still don't know what those letters mean. And 5 New York Emmy Awards. In 2019, I was inducted into my high school St. Joseph's Collegiate Institute's Fine Arts Wall of Honor. If you're from Buffalo, that's a really big deal. If you're not from Buffalo, ignore it. And then just this past week, actually, I was awarded with the Marilyn Watt Distinguished Alumni Award from my alma mater, Canisius College. Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I wasn't expecting like clapping and stuff. Hold on, let me pause again. Okay, thank you. All right, that was cool. Wow, okay. I should give this presentation. Now, today, I'm the founder of Black Space Creative. I bring bold stories and ideas to life with a growing network of creatives who have a passion for helping out founders, creative teams, and businesses looking to connect, inspire, and scale. But like, who cares? I make stuff. You guys want to see? Okay. Well, let me just get this little mouse over. And oh, the anticipation. Oh, wow. Yeah. More clapping. I love this. I like doing this. I'll do this more. Yeah, if you saw that and you're thinking, wow, we should hire him, you should. Oh, of course. So behind me is a list of what I do as a creative. And if you're looking at it and you're saying, dude, that's like 30 jobs, well, it's 7. Okay, so just relax. If I had to put all of this in a pie chart of what I'm experienced in, it would be 7 pie charts. I'm exaggerating, but the through line is real. Really, this is just I have a passion for filmmaking and motion design, and then everything else pretty much branches out from there. I did not pick a lane because I love the whole damn highway. I've been making things my whole life and falling in love with movies and storytelling and design and building a creative life by learning each piece of the process one by one. I pretty much boils down to when a story needs telling, I want to know how to tell it. So don't put me in a box. I entered the job market in 2009, that feels very long ago, for, what was I doing? Oh, yes, as an illustrator and a web developer or designer. And if you're thinking, what the hell, so was I. My first agency job, I was an editor, and in order to bring more, make my edits more dynamic, I was told to learn Apple Motion, LOL. And that's when I really fell into motion design. And with talking head videos not being very filling, I decided to make indie films after work with my friends. And it started as me just on a DSLR filming my friends. And by 2013, we were about 30 people deep with crew and cast. And the problem was for the production, we had 30 people, but after the production for post, it was just me doing the VFX, the color, the audio, all of that. And that became a very natural bottleneck, and burnout hit real hard, honey. So when, oh, by the way, I will not, we won't be watching any of those films here. I'll spare you that. But in 2013, I got my first job in the sports world for the Sabres and the Bills, making a lot of the high energy visuals that you saw in my reel. And for that, I really locked in. Like for 7 years, I was all motion design. And, you know, I got pretty good at it. In 2021, I headed back to the agency world with Mower. And except this time, I was as a content producer working with other freelancers to do the post-production and produce videos. So kind of I had to learn to kind of delegate instead of trying to do everything myself. And that was a rewarding experience. And because rent doesn't care about your dreams, I did freelance on the side, and that later launched into what is now Black Space Creative. So you might be asking, what exactly is it that you do? For me, I just define it as a digital creative. I'm a full system thinker. I know every part of the process, and I have something to say about each part. So you might be thinking, oh, you're a creative director or a producer or clearly a post-production lead, but I say, don't put me in a box. Ding, I must have made a good point there. For me, it's not just a job. This is how I see the world. It might sound dramatic, but I'm dramatic. It's how I communicate with the world and how I make sense of it. And I also always wanted to make things that I didn't see. And so that's just, I ended up doing everything. So a lot of you are here for one question, and that is, will AI replace us? And I have a very simple answer. Well, yeah, with that attitude. But let's be honest. As a creative, I have very real fears. And you would too with those headlines. All right, we've got ChatGPT just duplicating Studio Ghibli stuff. We've got AI will replace you, they'll take jobs. And these are just articles that I haven't read. Okay? TikTok is a doom scroll. It's artists, writers, coders. You have 18 months, maybe less. It's an extinction event for graphic designers. AI is going to end the creative industry, and it starts with Canva. At LinkedIn, it's just dark and full of terrors. But that's just LinkedIn. My favorite take was from a creative director that said, you know, AI is only going to replace creatives who are lazy. I found that to be a lazy take. But because to me, the problem isn't AI, it's how people are choosing to use it. Last year, I attended a business workshop where an entrepreneur shared how she used AI to build her entire brand identity. She was an accountant that started a marketing firm, but today she was a creative. And what I went in for was some insight in entrepreneurship. And what I ended up getting was a taste of my own personal hell. Because she, well, not her, she's an AI-generated image. You know what I love about this? I said, make it look really sad. So AI was like, bah! And just put a bunch of sad faces in the cloud of dust. And then, you know, I just love that. AI can be so literal sometimes. But she explained proudly that with a family and a household to manage, she didn't have time to fuss over a logo. And I took that personally. But what she lacked in creative prioritization, she made up for in business acumen. Her brand color was chosen to attract women from a distance, evoke energy, and instill confidence, which eerily sounds similar to how I met my partner, but she used this in her brand because that was her demo. Her logo depicted success. It was a stick person like this on a hill with trees and the sun and a rainbow. And her font was script font because of course it was. With the help of ChatGPT and a few other AI tools, she generated a brand identity that communicated one thing. This person desperately needs an art director. There's three things that that this presentation is based on, and these are the truths that always kind of existed, but are more prevalent now in the AI age. We need taste and experience. It's more important than ever. We have to adapt, not by running or avoiding, but learning how to use and what's out there. And we have to decide what we value. AI isn't bad. I use it. I don't write emails anymore. I haven't written emails in 2 years. If you have emailed me, you haven't. You've emailed my chat. I'm sorry. A client put it to me pretty easy. He's like, well, you don't get paid to write emails. And I said, you're right, and I hate it. I'm not against AI. I use it, and I rely on it. I want it to handle my housekeeping so that I can focus on creating. So with everyone creating with AI, how do humans stand out when AI generated content is everywhere. You show up to the party in your green hat so you can stand out, and guess what? Now everyone's wearing green hats. I'm here to tell you, it was never about the green hat. It was about that swagger, y'all. It was about that riz, the groovy. It was about the cool cat in the hat. It was about the beast. Okay, I'm done. Taste and experience matters more than anything. That lived experience, that those years of consuming content. For us to decide, we have to rely on what moves us. And it's hard to describe because you know when something's AI. You know when something isn't appealing to you. We have to tap into that more than ever. So, during a review of The Incredibles, who here's seen that movie? I'm just kidding, we all have. The team was watching a scene where Bob, Mr. Incredible, and Helen, Elastigirl, are having a heated argument. The goal was to show a passionate but loving fight between two equals. But when the Brain Trust watched it, something felt off. Instead of feeling balanced, the scene felt uncomfortable, even aggressive. Bob came across as intimidating or bullying, even though the dialogue and the acting were spot on. They realized that the problem wasn't with the writing, it was with the visuals. Bob's huge physical stature over Helen made the scene feel unbalanced no matter what they said. So this group of people decided the fix wasn't to change their lines, but they had Helen stretch taller to match Bob's size using her powers. And that tiny visual shift rebalanced the power dynamic, and suddenly it felt like the equal loving argument that they intended. That kind of nuance, at least in my opinion, and since I have the microphone, that makes it right, doesn't happen without people, and it never will. The truth is, with AI, it's very easy to make crap fast. It's pretty clear, someone's like, these look normal. They're the robot. It's pretty clear that these images lacked a human eye. What about a designer eye? Imagine this on scale. All the bad logos, posters, websites, designed by people who clearly aren't designers. Oh, you used papyrus for your logo. And it's the whole logo. Okay. AI isn't bad, but like any new software, we need to adapt. Now, I just want to tell you, I understand that all I have is Midjourney and OpenAI's logo here, and there are many, many more AI tools that expand far beyond this, but also relax, okay? These tools change. We've always learned Figma, Photoshop, After Effects. We just didn't call them existential threats. And that's what we're here. That's what we're doing here. The problem is that like AI moves so damn fast that when you do feel like you've learned Midjourney, they release Midjourney 17, and then suddenly everything else, throw it away, start again. So it's just keeping up with the software as usual. But why AI offers exciting possibilities is important to recognize its significant environmental impact. Training large-scale AI models consumes vast amounts of energy, contributing to carbon emissions and raising urgent questions about sustainability in the tech industry. But also relax, I only have an hour. So let's talk about what we bring to the table. If you're familiar with Ikigai, it's a Japanese concept about finding joy and purpose through the things you love, the things you're good at, and the things that serve others. It's about the sweet spot where passion, talent, and contribution meet. It's a very fancy graph to focus on your why. And this may surprise you, but if we're being honest, money is only part of that graph. It makes up a fourth of it, but it's only a part of it. And I say part because the price of eggs ain't coming down, and I can't pay for them with values. I heard this in my first time I heard this quote was an After Effects gig, and it was from a client. Now, I should mention that I was paid for this project, and when he told me this, I believe that he believed it. But I need money. But because I can't print money, all I could focus on was the creative. And 15 years later, here I am, bills mostly paid. And I remind myself of this quote all the time, especially when I'm freelancing and I don't know when that client's calling next. I don't know where that next project's coming from. I can't control that, but I can control what's in front of my computer and what I'm putting out. And I'm always thinking about this. Now, I had another friend that told me that money isn't real. It's just made up. But you're not ready for that conversation. I'll tell you what is real, though. The people, the collaboration, that messy connection, those happy accidents, those dialogues, those chosen relationships with people that happen when we're telling a story. So we have a choice: profit or people. If you're a CEO or an agency head chasing maximum profit, by all means, clear the creative roster, replace them with prompt engineers, learn those 87 tools, stack that 10K a month in your sleep. If you sense mockery in my voice, it's on purpose. Alternatively, AI can free up creatives to innovate. I don't know about you all, but there's plenty of projects that I've made a lot of money on that could be automated. We're talking, make this idea in 4 different dimensions. And I do that for 2 weeks. And it's soul-sucking. Let's animate that. I would rather do that and focus on that next innovation, that next idea. Like everything else, there's pros and cons to working with AI. And it just depends on what you entrust AI with. The con here is that AI gives the illusion of self-sufficiency, like it kills collaboration, like you don't need it. And it creates an echo chamber of the same voices in the same styles. Try giving AI a prompt that says, make a popular anime illustration and it not look like Studio Ghibli. Let's not forget what AI was built on. Past books, past movies, past writing that have all been disproportionately dominated by one perspective. And I'll pause so you can contemplate what that dominant, catered to human perspective most likely is. Okay. Depending on what you put into it, all that AI output comes with that same bias already baked in. So it's important that we're putting out new ideas so that we can keep moving forward and not just adding to that echo chamber. The same goes for style and narrative. Personally, I think it's hilarious when Hollywood runs out of ideas. Every so often, you'll ask someone like where the industry is in Hollywood, and they'll say like, "Oh, it's real bad. No one's going to the movies." You know, when that happened back in the day, what came from it? Blaxploitation era. Marvel was going bankrupt, and then the Blade movie came out, and it seems like, oh, where'd this wave of success come from? Where'd all these people come from? They were lacking perspective the whole time. That's Blade. In an AI-dominated creative landscape, our unique human perspective is the difference. On the flip side, AI can help get over hurdles that you may have with software. So like I said, I have like 30 jobs. I'm not in Photoshop as much as I'm in After Effects. And instead of me going to YouTube for the tutorials of how do you do this or how do I do that, I just ask AI. And sometimes AI is right. With decision paralysis, a lot of times I'll have like 7 ideas and they're all awesome ideas. And I'm like, ChatGPT, I know this is going to be hard for you. Pick the best one. And it's like, none of these are good. But, and then also it helps me with my productivity, but it can't replace the purpose. Whether I'm collaborating with clients or creating for myself, the goal is the same, to build stories that matter and to leave behind work that speaks silent. That speaks even when I'm silent. We have to remember why we chose to do what we do. And that's to build stories that matter. If you want work that matters, you need someone who matters behind it. And I don't care what age we're in, that never changes. That never changes. This is brought to you by someone who still believes in making things that matter.